Let's go live to Facebook and say hi, Facebook, and hi, YouTube, and hi, LinkedIn. Give me a shout out, LinkedIn. Some of you guys are, you'll like come over and you'll message me in my messenger in LinkedIn, and I appreciate it. I do. I love any message I get from anywhere. What I don't love is I don't always get back to you timely because I didn't see it pop in there. So give me a little love, give me a little hello if you're there over on LinkedIn and YouTube. Okay, today I want to talk to you about the metric that is one of my favorite metrics. So yes, if I'm already losing, you're like, listen, I've already been doing a whole lot of first year, new year planning things. Nicole, I've kind of been talking about metrics and all my reporting and everything a little too much. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna tell you it's only the 5th. It's only January 5th. So at least give me to the end of the week to talk to you about this. Really, give me more than that, because I'm going to tell you this one metric really could be a big game changer if you haven't considered it before. And so I want you to know this is something that I'm going to be tracking anew. I've always kind of had a handle on it, but this time I'm like, no, I'm committed and I want to show everybody. How do you ever feel like that? Hey, Instagram. Hey, you're here. Bree's here. Alicia's here. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. I wanted to make sure I was here live on Instagram too, because this is one of the first times one of the things I'm going to talk about isn't just shared on a screen over on Facebook. So thanks for joining me all the places. I'm excited to have you. So I always like to start off with a little bit of just kind of setting the tone for why I do this. So I want to talk to you about leading metrics today, but the little tone that I want to set is by Coco Chanel. Success is often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. Let me just say that one more time. Success is often achieved, says Coco Chanel, by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. Yeah, one of my best buddies, he might be here. And Mike, if you're here, say you're here. Let me know where anybody's listening in from, whether it's your car, your office, maybe Starbucks office today. Mike, I remember when I interviewed him on the podcast last year, he said, if somebody would just have told me it's going to fail 7 times, but the 8th time it's going to kick, that's nearly a verbatim quote. He's like, that would have been so helpful to hear that it's not going to be perfect the first time. So Coco Chanel tells us you're going to be successful if you just keep going. So I hope that that's inspiring to you, but let's dig into this topic of this metric, this number one metric. So I want you to have a few things in your business. I want you to have the ability to control a few things. Yes, there I said it. Anybody here that is a fellow you like to, type A, plan a few things, control what you can, push out the bad that may come. I'm going to give you a reframe and call it driving. You like to drive your success forward, your business, your sales, your whatever you're up to, right? Maybe you're a business decision maker at a corporate gig. You still get to make some decisions. And I want you to feel like you are empowered to drive your business forward. And so today I wanted to talk about a lot of metrics briefly. So really, really quickly, we could have talked about revenue here today, right? We could have talked about money coming in, what happened last year. I don't want to talk about that. We could talk about profit. And actually, I'd love to talk about profit sometimes. Anytime you want to talk about profit with me, you let me know. We could have talked about that, because then it talks about how you could have controlled some of those expenses and how you could in the future. So that's a fun topic. We could have talked about, what's my other one I wrote down here? Oh, yeah. Something really important that I think sometimes we, myself included, don't really want to look at all the time, but it's really important. It's called customer acquisition, right? What does it cost us to actually get a customer through the door? And then on the back of that, many of you know that it's so much more inexpensive. I won't say cheaper, more inexpensive to hang on to a customer that you can just repeat. So, okay. So if you're here with me, say you're here with me, that you get it. We're not going to talk about money. We're not going to talk about profit of that money. We're not going to talk about what it takes to win a new customer and how much that cost. And we're not even going to talk about the percentage of retaining new customers. You with me? You here? I see people here. Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay. If you're interested in something that you can control, yes, that's right. I'm looking at a few of you that may or may not be here. But if you want to control something, and if you want to make it really simple, and if you want to have a leading metric that's going to be a predictor of your growth, give me a leading in the chat. Yeah, I'm with you, Nicole. I want something that's going to lead where I'm going, that is future telling, because frankly, whatever happened last year, your revenue, your profit, your acquisition rate, or how many people you retained or got referrals from, guess what? That's over. That's done with. I don't want that for you. That's over. There's nothing you can do to control that. And I don't want that for you. Instead, I want to give you something that's really, really simple to track and to control and can be a game changer. So Anybody want to guess? We had a couple guesses on Facebook. I should look those up really quickly. Anybody want to guess at what this metric could be? The one that I'm so excited about? Anybody? 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 I know Mike guessed that it would have been conversions, which love Mike. Not a bad guess. I do love a good sales conversion, improving that rate all the time. Kristen guessed about percentage of repeat clients, or she said repeat clients. Again, also love Kristen. Good guess. No. What I want is I want to know the number of pre-sales activities. What the heck is that? Yeah, you're right. You probably can't exactly Google it. So I'm going to tell you. So you can think of the sales funnel as like people in your world, people you're going to nurture inside your world, and then those that are going to fall out and become a relationship, right? The dollars are going to be exchanged, services are going to be done. But I want to know right above that, the thing that people don't always talk about, I want to know those pre-sales activities. How many calls did you have? How many meetings were held? How many people attended a workshop or an event that you had? How many times did you use time and energy that you aren't tracking, that you aren't relating exactly to a dollar? How many times have you spent that time, energy, calendar space, right? It's time you could not be doing something else and you didn't even keep a tally. That's right. I told you this is going to be simple. Like you just have to keep a little tally. So just super, super simple. My lights are kind of bright today. This is yeah. So really, really simple way. Now, I have my Google open up over here, but then I realized I wanted to talk to Instagram folks too. So I'm not going to show you that, but I have my Google Calendar pulled up. You can easily in 3 little steps. I can show you after if you need to. I can drop a video. Let me know, say you want to drop a video, but you just export your entire calendar. You can, if you're an Excel whiz, yes, I'm total nerd about Excel. If that makes sense for you, you can hop in there and tell me you want the video, but you can just hop in there and filter out any meetings that you had. So like anything that said like out of office, you can get rid of. Anything that was like to your kid's school or the dentist appointment, get rid of that. But anything else that was time on your calendar that didn't go directly to a sales call. Recently, I met somebody, where's his business card? Hey, Tim, if you're watching later on, because we'll chat. But I met a guy at a local Toys in the Attic. Here's a little shout out for him. And I told him I'm going to follow up with him. It's still sitting right here though. But we had a conversation and then I'll follow up with him and just say, hey, make friends, right? But he belongs in my tally. Like he's another entrepreneur in my pocket that certainly when I need a toy, a puzzle, perhaps. But he is somebody that I made a connection with and I should be tracking that down. Because when Tim learns what I do or how I support or about the podcast, whatever, and when I learn what he does, that's a connection worthy of a track because that's going to be right above when there's a lead or a sales conversation. I'm not saying Tim is going to be a lead. I don't know. I hope there's a way we can support him. But even if it's just him listening to the podcast, cool. But if not, I know that there might be him sharing with an opportunity that he shares with somebody else. And so if I don't start tracking those, that's how we start to see inconsistent months, folks, in our business. Like, can I just call it out? People come to me a lot of times and say, well, if I could just get people on the phone, I'm fine, Nicole, when I'm on the phone. 4 out of 5, I will close them all. Cool. How many of you are tracking all those pre-sale activities to know how long it took to get someone on your books, on your call, just a discovery call, just to have the call? Some of you are using Facebook ads. I know that for sure. Google ads too, other traffic, any type of traffic. You're using those. Great. But that's only traffic that you're paying for. Maybe organically, sure too. But like, what about all those other one-on-one connections you're making? They got to go somewhere. Because if they go somewhere, right? What's the phrase? What gets measured gets managed, right? So if they go somewhere, then you're going to hold yourself, I hope, accountable just a little bit to be like, oh, I was trying to get to 20 of those and I see where I only did 5 this month. And that's not great because that is a leading indicator of what I can expect in my business 30 days out, 60 days out, 90 days out. How many of you in your business or in your sales life, or even in inventory, right? Like, so like that's still a sales activity, just counting inventory ahead of time. How many are you living like a quarter ahead? I've always been living a quarter ahead. Like I might be here, but I'm like mid-March right now thinking about that. So it's so important that if we can get consistent upfront, those like pre-activities that are already taking up time on our calendar, if we can get clear on those and set a goal for that, set a stretch goal for that even. If 20 scares you, if 100 scares you, if 1,000 people a month scare you, like set whatever that, okay, I mean, if it really scares you and you can't actually take on that many people, then okay, let's not get that scared. But whatever it is that really scares you, you're like, I don't really know how many I've done before. Well, go back and look past few months, see if you can be like, okay, did I do 8? Cool. I'm going to beg you to double it. I'm going to beg you to double it. And I am going to also say, come on back here. You can find me anywhere, but go message me in a couple months and say, oh my gosh, that really made all the difference. And it was something I could control, Nicole. It was something really simple that I had to track, and it was leading me to my future results. That's what I want for all of you. Anybody have any questions? Is this helpful? I see, I see Creative Coaching Services here. I see Renew Boutique. So I don't know which one of the girls is there. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions I can answer for you? You know, I'm always here. I'm always up for any type of verbal processing an entrepreneur ever needs to do. You know, I'm here for it. So message me sometime. My team and I, we have had a full crazy calendar, but there is one thing we will always stop for. And now you know when I do stop for it, I'm actually tracking it too. Rachel, thank you for asking a question. Let's see. I feel like she already is going to know the answer. Would you also include contacts, business cards from networking events too? Yeah. So yes. However, I only will take someone's card for two reasons. One, I'm being polite and they shoved it in my hand, but I know that it's not a good fit. So that card I would not count. Not Tim's card. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, Tim. But somebody that I made a genuine connection with that was like, hey, yeah, we talked. He knows what I do. I know what he does or she. And there is a reason to make sure this contact information doesn't go too far from me. I would tally it, because then if you tally it, first of all, you're more likely that you're going to even just put this information in an email or follow up if you didn't already. And then let's say you just met somebody, you're like, hey, it was so great to meet with you. Look forward to chatting with you in the future. And now it's that, or you connected on LinkedIn. If there was no way to nurture them, right? But if you're always keeping track consistently of your 8 people, your 16 people, your 20 people, your 50 people, it is more likely that you're going to be intentional about reaching back out. Like, hey, that was a couple months back. I'm going to just say, hey, again. And, you know, I talked to, this reminds me, I talked to somebody this year. I haven't talked to her in a little bit. And she was sharing with me how she followed up with somebody from 2019. And she's like, it's just been that long. Like, that's just when I followed up with her. But here's the reality is everybody went through the past couple of years for this particular example and had different experiences of it. And if that person is still at that same place, and if you two made a connection, then making the connection even later on. And sure enough, what did that contact say to her? Oh my gosh, now you're back on my radar. Like, I'm so glad that you reached out. Doesn't matter how much time passed. Like, a need is a need. So I would say yes, but it is because I always will only take a card because yes, I'm interested, or B, I was polite and then I wouldn't. I hope that makes sense. Was that too honest? Maybe. I don't know. If you've given me your card, I promise to follow you this year so you don't think I'm just being polite. So you can pull data in from different channels. Yeah. So, okay, good. Okay. So Rachel, the detailed. I love it. So yes. So I was saying, I don't know if you caught that part, but I was saying, yeah, I think you were over on Instagram too, but I was saying like, so on my calendar and Google Calendar, luckily I keep a couple things separate, like podcasts is separate or team meetings and stuff, but I can just download all of that. I would do that from there. And then I have a Calendly too. So some of you use Acuity or other calendar type links. The tricky part with that is, are you using them always as a sales call? So like my strategy calls are just strategy. Like, I'm not there to pitch or to sell somebody something. I mean, if I can serve you, like, yes, I'm going to sell you something, full disclosure, but it's not my intention of a 20-minute call. Like my intention, like truly right before I show up, I don't always, but I try to just take like 3 deep breaths. And I'm like, okay, I just want to figure out what they do. Like, I just want to be curious about what they're up to, what they do. And then how can I serve them in 20 minutes, right? Because I used to serve people in like a face-to-face 30 to 45-minute meeting that I drove across town for, and just all the things. So if I can just say, like, how can I show up and serve for 20 minutes? Like, what can they take from me and what can I learn about them? Now, does that often lead to a sales call or like a sales conversation? Do they see my pitch deck for some of you that was watching a couple weeks ago? Yes, because they asked for it. But so that's my only disclaimer there is sometimes if you have a strategy call like I do, that is just strategy, not sales, that should get counted in your pre-sales activity. And then when it turns into that lead, even if it's on the call in that moment, they turn into lead. So you're going to follow up with them with potentially a proposal or invite to work together. So that, like, 2 things happened there. That first half I would track as my tally, my simple, I can control this conversation. Like my buddy Tim here, for example. So if we talk this week or next or something and we chit chat and he wanted to talk about ideas for his business, of course, and he wanted to just kind of verbally process some of those, I'm here for it. Like, I want to do that with him. But at some point he's like, wait a second, you guys do digital marketing? So like you could, then that turns into something else and I would track. I would track both. That makes sense? I hope so. Man, I hope so. I hope so. Who's excited for the new year? Anybody have a other metric that they track? I'd love to know in the comments. I'm keeping you a little long, so I'm going to let you go. Yay, that does make sense. Rachel approves. Yay. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I only tease because Rachel and I get to work together, and she sometimes is one of the first people that I share something with. And I'm like, cool, it's Rachel. It's like kid tested, mother approved, but kid tested would sound like kid. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm trying to be like, yes, it's Rachel. It's Rachel tested, Rachel approved. So cool. I am here for anything that you guys are thinking about in terms of moving your business forward. Yes, yes, moving your business forward this year. So again, if it is a call, like let's jump on that. If you want to verbally process something, if you want a topic here, this is what this toolkit is all about. We always want to create something you can walk away with. In Kristen Meyer's words, if she was here, I'm sorry she's not here, she would say, "You just want to give me something else to do." It's not that I want to give you something else to do. I want to give you a tool that builds your business, that builds your sales and builds your growth. And the way that I can do that is in these short little bite-sized tools that just hopefully, my aim is that these are helpful ways for you to rethink about what you're up to, what your business is converting other business into, because that's what I want for you. I want a healthy bottom line in the new year. So happy new year. And may you have all the prosperity that you're looking for with the help of tracking a few little metrics. Nikki Tools. Hey, Lourdes, thanks for being here. I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great one. Oh, I am. Yeah, look at that.